What's up, my friends? Welcome to the Mind of Iggy. Mind of Iggy. My mind. My mind. Anyhow, a little water. Stay hydrated, folks. I'm here to tell you, things are getting strange in the world. So, I've been watching TV like most of you guys do sometimes, watching the news, and I noticed a couple things. A lot of sharks on the East Coast lately in the Gulf. Whales attacking boats. Are they attacking boats, or are the boats just getting too close? Who knows? But anyhow, Mother Nature is here to say, hey, you know what? This is our habitat too. That's where man gets confused very quickly. Man takes over and just spreads like a virus. Here to the east, north, south, and west, it doesn't really matter. And it pushes out in the natural habitat. So, of course, sharks and whales are going to get pissed off because they have feelings and emotions just like we do. Who's to say that they don't? If you don't think that sharks and whales and animals have feelings, then you're just kidding yourself, because they do. And so what you're watching, what you're witnessing, is Mother Nature at work, sentient beings at work, expressing themselves, sharing with you and trying to communicate with you, because we're not listening. We're not listening because we think we're the most dominant species on the planet, and so we have the last say of what happens. No, folks, that's not how it works. Bears, you'll see a lot of bears. You'll see a lot of mountain lions more in neighborhoods than they have been, because there's been wildfires. There's been all kinds of crazy disruption in the ecosystem. There's all kinds of stuff that are happening. But we, as human beings, turn a blind eye. It doesn't affect me. I live over here. It doesn't matter. You think we would learn from, our brothers and sisters, the animal kingdom, how to survive. The monarch butterfly, for example, now it's on the endangered species list, to become extinct. It's endangered now. There used to be like thousands and thousands of those, and now there's only like a few thousands of these monarchs, I guess. And so how does that happen? How does it happen? Because it happens because we're in the way. It happens because we are in the way. We are the ones that cause disruption in the natural flow and the natural order of things, because we put it into our flow. We're like the beaver, and the beaver dams up a river or a lake or a body of water. Who really affects is the people who own the water rights, or own the water wherever the water is flowing. And sometimes we have to move the beaver, but sometimes we don't understand why the beaver does it, but yet the beaver does it. That's how much power he has, or she has, in that little space to reroute water systems. But as humans, we take and we take and we take and we don't care. Some of us care, but there's not enough of us to care. There's a handful of people, in each community that care, but the majority, no. These big, ultra-rich companies, they could care less about the snails, endangered snails, or, a sea turtle, struggling. The list goes on and on. But the reason I come on here is because I just wanted to share that with you, because, as human beings, this existence of who we are only comes around one time. So, you are you, I am me, I'm Iggy. There won't be another Iggy. Now, the vessel that houses Iggy will continue and move on and take on different forms, but this version of who it's been created and is here on this planet is one time. Just like you, just one time. That's it. This version is one and done. Now, the energy that's housed inside of us never dies. It just transmutes and becomes, and it changes. So I'm here to encourage you to fight through those battles, of depression, fight through those battles of anger, fight through those battles that you struggle with, because there's a lot of life to enjoy, a lot of life to live. And we're only as good as how we treat others, as how we treat ourselves. And so I notice people treat each other really bad, and have no compassion or empathy that the other person is probably having a struggle or going through things. So, it's really sad to see that. I watch the news, I listen to the radio just like everybody. Sometimes I disappear on Netflix, because, you just had enough. You've just had too much overload on this feelings and emotions that are happening. To be reconnected with nature. Going for a hike and just being in the woods is not enough. It seems like it's enough, but it's a start. But what does it mean to be connected with nature? It means to actually know what it means to be part of all of this that's happening. And we can't just have these lapses where one day we feel good and one day we feel all right. But you know what? To be truly connected to Mother Earth, to be connected to the Sky Father, to be connected to all the sacred points of the medicine wheel, we really have to work on ourselves, look at ourselves in these patterns, in these situations, how we affect the world. What do we do that causes pain and anguish to this world? Because we all do. We bring our burdens and our hurts, but also bring our joys and happiness to the world as well. So here we are. Sometimes when we want to help others, we can't help but make it about ourselves, because that's just nature, human nature. But true empathy and true understanding is asking the other person what's going on, and if I can help you, and if they say I'm okay, then drop it, leave it at that. There's too many people who just push, and they don't realize that their pushing is more about them wanting to be nosy than really caring. If you really truly want to care, when someone says, okay, I'm fine, can we stop? Can we move into another direction? That's where we have to learn. There's a lot right now going on in people's lives. There's a lot happening in people's lives right now. There's a lot of things. You and I are not the only ones affected. The whole world's being affected by all the decisions that other people make for us. And so how do we move into this new energy? Well, sometimes we move into very quickly, very fast, or a very slow pace. I'm not sure exactly how it's moving. I just know it's moving. And I can see it in the people that I work with, who are my clients. I can see it with people who are my family, who are struggling, to find peace and joy and happiness amongst each other. It's just a whole handful of just dysfunctional energy right now. Now, within this dysfunctional, there's pockets of joy and love and peace. But, when you look around, people they're really fighting that battle that they don't talk about with other people. And, they have their reasons. And I understand. And I get it. Because I'm like that too. But what I do truly know is this. We live one life. And where will you be in the next 5 to 10 years? Or 20 years? What's your scheduled, version of what that looks like to you? Have you ever asked yourself that? In 20 years, I'm 70. And, my mindset, my feelings, my body, and everything will be different. That's what I trying to explain to my children. And I'm 55, but my body has changed, has morphed, and has become different, because that's what happens when you are evolving as a human being. As you evolve as a human being, you evolve spiritually, emotionally, and all these things that come with that. But your body, if you keep working on it, will evolve with you. But even if you work on it, it still changes, because the cells in our body completely reform themselves, and you're not the same person physically that you were when you were 15, 16, 17, 18, or 20, 25, 30. You have recreated, and you have shedded off cells and hair and all kinds of things. But the essence of you, inside of you, that permeating energy that is you, it doesn't change, in the sense of, it becomes stronger. I really believe it becomes stronger and becomes more energetic, but it doesn't have the capacity to move into that space, because it's still inside this body, inside this shell, that is no longer serving the spiritual needs of that. Now, eventually, we will release this body, and we will move into the spaces of the universe, spaces, places, and, wherever we go, nobody really knows. And we will see a much different version of ourselves. We're kind of like caterpillars right now, some of us on the chrysalis or the cocoons, and we're molding and melding and becoming something else. But I think that's what happens when we die, when we get into the death state, where we actually go into that cocoon, and we're in there, and we're totally just becoming a whole different being. And I think when we finally pass away, we shed this one, and we go in, our energy goes off to where it needs to be, and we become, or we absorb, or we become connected to another body, or another spirit, or another soul, or become another existence. We have no proof of it because we don't understand it. If before it took people to understand the study of animals, right? Like caterpillars, for example. There was a time where people didn't realize that caterpillars turned into butterflies until they watched the process. And so that's my point. There was a moment in time, very brief probably, when humans, or were caterpillars, went into that state and were men, like, where'd all the caterpillars go? And all of a sudden these beautiful butterflies come out. And they change completely. Their DNA structure completely changed. Once they become the butterfly, we're the same way. We're the exact same way. We will also change in that capacity as well. We will also, when we go into the next state of existence, we will become completely, utterly unrecognizable in the sense of that we'll have probably maybe no memory of who we were, but we will be a new existence. Where we go, how we get there, I don't know. Anyhow, Iggy Garcia, Mind of Iggy. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. It's good to be here.